Formula One car regulations are like the chameleons of the racing world, constantly morphing from one season to the next. One year you're admiring slick speed stars with monster wheels, the next you're squinting at the screen wondering if you've stumbled into a sci-fi flick. And who could forget those wild experiments with 6 wheels, 4 wheels, and even just a pair? But fear not, fellow racing enthusiasts, for the FIA is the wizard behind the curtain, conjuring up these ever-evolving rules to keep the F1 circus thrilling. Just a blink ago, they unveiled the 2022 regulations and makeover that turn F1 cars from mundane to magnificent, all in the name of safer, more exhilarating racing. And let me tell you folks, it's been a revolution on wheels. With cars now snugger than a pack of sardines, every race is a nail-biter, with wheel-to-wheel action that'll make your heart race faster than the cars themselves. Overtakes? Oh, they're as common as pit stops. And the on-track drama, let's just say it's the stuff of legends. F1 in the era of 2022 regulations is like watching a high-speed ballet, where every twist and turn leaves you on the edge of your seat, craving more. But hold on to your helmet folks, because not everyone is popping champagne over these new regulations. Behind the facade of smiles from the FIA, Liberty Media, and the F1 bigwigs lies a truth that some in the racing community are starting to whisper about. Yes, even the innocent-looking F1 kids might be in on it, with their charming grins masking a deeper agenda, because here's the scoop. These shiny new regulations might not be the golden ticket to racing paradise that they've been touted as. Now don't go revving your engines in frustration just yet. I'm not here to rain on the parade, but let's be real. These regulations haven't exactly delivered the knockout punch they promised. Sure, they're not exactly worthless, but they're about as impactful as a feather in a hurricane. And the biggest culprit? Weight and size. I mean, seriously, have you seen the size of these things? It's like trying to squeeze a tank through a needle's eye. Let's rewind the clock back to 2012, a time when I was just a tadpole in the pond of Formula One fandom. The memories. Back then, I affectionately dubbed the F1 car racing channel. Don't ask me how I came up with that gem. But let me tell you folks, those were the days when my TV screen was a portal to pure racing bliss. Why, you might ask? Well, 2012 wasn't just any old season, it was a golden age of F1, a time when the racing gods smiled upon us with some of the most exhilarating battles ever witnessed on the track. And let us not forget the star-studded grid that graced our screens, featuring none other than the enigmatic Romain Grosjean. Yes, believe it or not, there was a time when Grosjean wasn't just setting his car alight metaphorically. In 2012, he was setting the track on fire with his blistering pace, but I digress. What really stole the show for me for that season? The cars, my friends. Oh, those magnificent beasts. Sure, they might not have been the prettiest things to ever graze the asphalt, looking at you 2014 pencil-nosed cars. But in 2012, those F1 machines were straight out of a nightmare. Take the RB8 for instance. If that monster came up roaring behind you at 250 kilometers per hour, you'd be praying for divine intervention. With their boxy noses, razor-sharp wings, and angular builds, these cars weren't just fast, but they were downright menacing. They were like hornets on steroids, striking fear into the hearts of drivers and spectators alike. And after such a spectacular season, many of us dared to dream that the FIA would stick with these regulations, building upon the foundation of greatness laid in 2012. But hey, it's 2014, so get the hell out of here 2012, and let me tell you, things have been taking a turn for the colossal. If you thought the cars our yesteryears were beefy, well, prepare to have your mind blown. These 2024 F1 beasts are packing some serious pounds, tipping the scales at a hefty 798 kilograms. To put that into perspective, it's like trying to wrangle 3 Discord mods into a single racing machine. Now, that's some serious weightlifting. But it's not just the numbers on the scale that have ballooned. Oh no, these cars have gone full-on Hulk mode in the size department. While the width hasn't undergone a drastic makeover, it's the length that got jaws dropping. Picture this, the 2024 F1 cars are a whopping 1.13 meters longer than the 2012 counterparts. That's like trying to squeeze a limo onto the racetrack. So what's the deal with this supersizing frenzy, you ask? Well, strap in because we're about to unravel the mystery of weight and size in the world of F1. Let's cut straight to the chase, folks. F1 cars could resemble Reliant Robins on steroids and you'd still find me glued to the screen because let's face it, what truly matters is the thrill factor. And what's more thrilling than a nail-biting overtake? Nothing, my friends. Absolutely nothing. Now, enter the stage the new regulations with promises of turning every race into a heart-pounding spectacle. But here's the kicker. Weight and size are once again the villains of the piece. These latest cars are beefier than a Ford F-150. Seriously, they could give your mom's minivan a run for its money. But here's where the rubber meets the road, folks. With larger dimensions comes less real estate for those daredevil maneuvers we all live for. Cast your mind back to 2017, Daniel Ricciardo, the master of the dive bomb, pulling off the impossible, overtaking not one, not two, but three cars in a single corner. It had us all shouting, "Holy crap, how did he do that?" But fast forward to the present, and it's a whole different ballgame. If Ricciardo dared to replicate the legendary move in 2013, he'd need more than luck on his side. He'd need a direct line to Italian Jesus to avoid a pileup for epic proportions. Now, you might think it's the width that's throwing a spanner in the works, but let me tell you, the real culprits here are the weight and length. These cars are like pickup trucks on steroids, hogging up so much track space you'd think you stumble onto a NASCAR circuit. But here's the kicker, it's all about nimbleness, that quick and agile movement that separates the pros from the amateurs. Picture the 2017 cars, slick, light, and shorter than your attention span in a TikTok video. That's what allowed Daniel Ricciardo to weave his magic on the track, pulling off moves that left us all gasping for air. Now let's compare that to the behemoths we have today. These things are like the Waffle House regulars of the racing world. Sluggish, bulky, and about as nimble as a sumo wrestler in a ballet. The increased length means they handle about as well as a battleship in a bathtub. And don't even get me started on the weight. It's like strapping an Iron Man suit to a tank from Fallout. And don't even think about the dive bombs and lightning fast moves. With these lumbering giants on the track, it's like trying to thread a needle with a sledgehammer. Sure, we've seen some epic moves, but it takes two skilled drivers and a track the size of Texas to pull them off without a collision. So, strap in, folk, because in the battle of agility versus girth, it's anyone's guess who'll come out on top. Alongside the excitement and overtakes, the battles on the track can be just as riveting for motorsports fans. So, with the new regulations in play, how do these battles stack up against overtakes? Well, both are essential for keeping fans on the edge of their seats. Let's dive into how they compare under the latest rules. And hey, despite my earlier criticisms, it's only fair to give credit where it's due. The FIA did manage to hit the mark in some areas. Cast your mind back to Romain Grosjean's Fury escapade a few years back. Talk about a cosplay gone wrong. While the 2020 cars were certainly safe, they weren't safe enough. Fast forward to 2024, and if Grosjean had pulled the same stunt, he'd have walked out of that inferno without a scratch. But let's not forget the likes of Joe Gu, George Russell, Mick Schumacher, and Lance Stroll, who unfortunately weren't as lucky after their brushes with life-threatening crashes. Safety has been front and center in these new regulations, and boy did they deliver. But here's the kicker. With great safety comes great sacrifice. Sure, the cars might be as sturdy as a tank, but they handle about as gracefully as a tank too. And let's face it folks, when you throw these mammoth machines into wheel-to-wheel battles, yeah, it's like playing a game of bumper cars, collision guaranteed. So that concludes our regulations in F1. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell for more updates. Until next time.